What is happening, everyone out there? This is the first intro I'm doing of the last 3 times we've recorded where I don't crack up laughing in the beginning of the episode. Because I'm waiting for a cue. Matt looks at like the camera and that's what my cue to go. And every time he does it, I just like pee myself laughing. So I'm getting better, guys. That's the gist of what I'm saying.
Not this time. You didn't find it funny anymore.
I know. I'm like, it's getting old. Find another way to entertain us, Matt. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, that's Matthew Austin. I'm Bailey Passero. Obs, we're here. Press play again. We're missing our boy Ohms. He couldn't record this one with us. Pour one out for our homie. But he'll be back. He'll be better. He'll be stronger than ever. Oh, you were actually pouring. I was like, great.
All over my laptop.
So we are here for our annual, I'm kidding, not annual. We're here for our discussion of the Bad Batch. The Bad Batch episode
our
7.
Late discussion of the Bad Batch.
Yeah, we're running late. I had computer issues, which meant that it was something stupid that I had to fix. But we ran out of time that night. So we're recording late and we're getting it out anyway because we got to talk about this episode. This episode specifically. What a freaking episode for my computer to shit out on
I know,
us.
right?
But anyway. It's episode 7, Battle Scars. And let me tell you, I've got some scars from this episode. Just kidding. But no, really, I do actually. But before we get into that, let me tell you where you can listen to us. It's Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and Apple Podcasts. And please leave us 5 stars or a review or both. That would be great. And if you want to follow us on social media, you can. On Twitter, @AgainPress, and Instagram, @PressPlayAgain. We do really cool, really fun, really stupid things on those social medias. So why not follow us and listen to us and like things? I don't know. Just do it.
Just do
it. And you can comment and leave anything on YouTube. We love talking to people about shit, and we love hearing what y'all have to say about stuff we didn't discuss. So leave us comments whenever you want. We love it. We'll talk to you. We like talking to people. That's why we talk onto camera and on microphones, because we can't stop talking. It's ridiculous. We like hearing our own voices, I guess. But anyway, I think that's all I have to say. Other than usually we'll be posting these episodes on Monday morning. So most of the time they'll be there on that day in the morning at some time. Today we're posting it. I'm assuming this is going to be on Thursday or Friday.
I think it'll go up Thursday tomorrow. Yeah, I think
Thursday.
We didn't talk about
if you're
it, but I
listening to
think
this
so.
late, hey, you're prepping for the next episode. So that's why you should be listening to this. Anyway, but we also are recording and posting our review discussions on Loki, which is Wednesday nights. We get that out as quick as possible because it needs to be out as quick as possible. So,
Check
than
those
that,
out.
Matthew, this episode.
Oh, baby, this episode. We asked for it to get back to the kind of the main story, and boy, did we get it.
God, they always freaking deliver.
They really
always
do.
deliver when you need it happening.
Yeah, it was great. The reveal was great, which we'll get into soon, but that kind of took the whole episode like along that path, which was awesome. We finally dealt with big kind of like the inhibitor chip and Rex and not Rex. Rex is there. God, I was gonna wait for you to be like, and the hooded person was Wrecker is who I was getting at, but we dealt with Wrecker's kind of inhibitor chip finally, and everybody's. And
anxiety.
It was cool to have it play out and kind of happen mostly all in this episode. And kind of just like we know that's out the way now and it's been dealt with, and it all for the most part happened in a pretty cool way. So yeah, I really liked it. I think it's probably the best episode. That first episode was really good though. It was like a movie, so it's hard to beat that one. But I think standalone episode, this one on its own was probably the best, probably my favorite. What about you?
This was my favorite and was the best episode.
Nice.
I don't care what you say. This episode was phenomenal. And
I'll fight you.
Just kidding. Especially for the fact that like we get to see the like top of all emotion kind of stuff with clones, because back at Clone War time, you got to kind of start learning about these characters and kind of seeing like why they have emotion and why they're their own people, and it's not just clones being clones. And this capitalizes on that, the stuff we got from Clone Wars. Like we get to see it, the aftermath of all of it, and how it affected them, how Order 66 affected these clones that aren't following the order. So seeing all of that played out like in future tense is the coolest thing to me. I thought this episode was fucking phenomenal. So I'm so glad that it at least got back to the part of the main storyline before like episode 10, because I was really getting worried we were going to get halfway through the show and they just like weren't going to do
God,
anything.
I was
So
too. I really thought that we were gonna have a few more like filler episodes
they
consecutively
needed
before we even got this. So
they really needed to like
props.
draw us back in. They did though. Like they needed to draw us back in. So I'm glad they did. I think we should just talk about it now though, because I have so many things I want to talk about. Which, speaking of hooded character, so we went through. Omar said it was Darth Maul. I thought it was Obi-Wan. I don't know who you said you thought it
I
was.
said I thought it was Ahsoka until y'all pointed out that it was like, oh no, they said he. So I was like, okay, it can't
Y'all
be
all
Ahsoka
made
then.
fun of me too. Omar was like, "Yeah, that cloak was definitely black," and I'm like, no, it was like light tan. I don't know what y'all are talking about, and
Yeah,
you didn't know either. Clearly, I was right. I just want to throw that out there. If we're keeping tally, we need
it
to start
was.
doing
It was a
that.
dark cloak.
No, it was a light tan cloak.
I think we have different takes on what like
Colorblind.
dark and light tan are.
But either way, I'm really glad that it was Rex. I almost am glad. I
I'm
would have been.
surprised neither of
I'm
us.
happier it's Rex than the other two. I
I
think
agree.
I'm happier that it's Rex.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked we didn't think about that, but you know what?
Yeah, I
Good
feel
job,
like I was
show.
expecting
You got
Rex
one
to come
over
a
on
little
us.
later. I was kind of expecting it to come a little later, if
Yeah,
I'm
I
being
think I guess I
honest.
was too. I don't know. I
But
because I
I'm glad
assumed
it
we'd get
didn't.
Rex at some point, but um I don't know, kind of the setup of just the like them communicating with him on the ship, like when they're on the ship. I was like, Rex didn't cross my mind.
Yeah, well, it kind of crossed mine, but I was like, I don't
I
expect
won't
it.
bring it
But
up.
I do think it was really cool how they introduced him. Like they all go back to Sid. I'm like, I love how we said we loved Sid so much, and now Sid is literally just in every episode. I'm like,
The show's
okay, I
literally giving
guess
us the things we're asking for, which has been great.
I know, but it gave us that, and I'm like, now do I want this still? Because I don't
Oh,
know.
you're
But
not feeling Sid?
she's okay. But either
Ah,
way, I'm
I still
happy.
love her.
Like the way they introduced Rex is like a bar fight kind of happens, and it reminds me a lot of Obi-Wan when he's in like the cantina. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
uh-huh.
about
Yeah, I
in
do.
New Hope? Like it kind of reminded me of that scene, and I was like, oh, this is great. A great way to introduce him. I don't know why. It brought me back. This show made me very nostalgic for the original movies for some reason.
It's funny for
Like
some
this
reason when I was
specific
thinking,
episode.
even when you were talking about it just now, I was thinking Obi-Wan when he's in the kind of like cantina bar, but in episode 2 in Attack of the Clones when they're
That
going there.
too,
But yeah, I
though.
mean it's all like similar vibes to that, which is really cool.
Yeah. So, but we've been talking for the last, what, 6 episodes about this bump on the head headache thing
This
that Wrecker
headache
keeps
that
going through.
freaking Wrecker keeps having.
And the whole heartwarming relationship between he and Omega is at this point, like one of my favorite parts of this show is them two being together. So they really did a great job with picking Wrecker to be the one that like his mind starts changing because he feels like the most innocent
I
out of
know
all of
it did
them.
it that like tug on the heartstrings kind of moment. It felt like having it be Wrecker was the best kind of choice they had with that of like anyone in the Bad Batch, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And so when Rex is like super cautious and realizes what's going on, I think it's really cool. It's almost like proving that he has PTSD from everything that happened. So he's like immediately grabbing for his blaster because he's just
Mhm.
like, no matter what, like he's had to kill. Like he literally says, like, I've had to bury so many of my brothers. I don't want to anymore.
Which
Something along the lines of that.
I like how fast certain things move in the show. Like I'm really glad there was no bullshit with that where it was like, okay, now let's spend an episode of Rex like kind of hunting them where he's just trying to be like, look,
Hmm.
y'all, if y'all aren't going to give up the inhibitor chip, then I'm just going to have to put y'all down. And we're going to spend a whole episode kind of running from him because I feel like a 16 episode show like this could have tried to do that. But being that we love all these characters, none of us want to see that, right? I want to see these guys fighting. I want to see them agree. I want to see them like listen to Rex's advice because we know that he knows what's going on. And I'm glad that that was just
Exactly.
a simple like Yeah. All right. Okay. Maybe we do need to get the inhibitor chips taken out. What you got for us, Rex? How are we gonna do it?
Right, and that goes back to showing, like, when they had that episode in Clone Wars with the Bad Batch and Rex was, like, pretty much a part of their team in that arc, it just shows, like, how much respect they have for him.
Yeah.
So he was like, "I need to convince you, y'all have to listen to me. This is, like, what's going on," and it didn't take much for them to believe him because I think they really
They
do just,
just
like, fully trust him.
yeah.
Like, they
That's a good
he feels
point.
like one of their brothers, and so seeing that played out too, like, they kind of have just completely come full circle where they are semi trusting and I don't know, like they want to be with their brothers, but they feel alone now. Like they've always felt alone, but I think they feel even more alone now. So seeing people that actually care about them, it's like they're so much more willing to jump on it and be like, "Yes, we'll do whatever. Like we're here to help. We're here
Yeah.
to be with
Like
you."
like
So
you've been through kind of the same thing we're going through. So what do we need to do?
exactly.
Also, yeah, if like that's their only shot to really get the chip out, right? Like clearly
Yeah.
since Rex has the idea of thinking, all right, I got mine out on one of these like what is it, a destroyer? And it's just like, all right, we're gonna go there. And like that's where we know that they have like a med station where we can actually get that thing out.
Exactly, and I think their way of getting to whatever they were going to, like, the station they needed to go to remove the chips, it was so cool seeing the scenery that they did for that because it wasn't it, a s something graveyard? What graveyard was it?
Oh, like just for all the like fallen like
Yeah,
ships and
like the
stuff.
Star
Yeah, they
Destroyer
were like all
type.
just riddled throughout this planet, which was
Yeah,
incredible.
exactly, and
Visually,
but
that
it
was
was,
so
like
cool. They also
because
dialed
it was
up
an
the
entire planet
yeah,
just full of that.
and they also dialed up the kind of like Blade Runner music again that they were using in the
Oh, yeah.
finale for Clone Wars to kind of like give that whole vibe, sort of like very similar to the finale of Clone Wars, which I loved.
I just liked the scenery a lot and the idea of an entire planet just being like a junkyard for this and
It's
that they
really
have
cool.
to have people watching over it because people like the Bad Batch can go and like use the technology still, which is really cool. And it's cool that they had to do that way. And then I also felt like this was the first time in a while I felt really tense during an episode. Like, do you
For
get what I
Bad Batch,
mean?
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, because
this
nothing ever feels like I don't know, you never think anything bad's ever actually gonna
well,
happen.
yeah, and so that's kind of that goes with the whole like we're down with the fillers, right? But you kind of just when you watch an episode and 5 minutes in, you've kind of in your head realized like, okay, this is gonna be kind of a filler episode. You know, there's not gonna be anything of like consequence. There might be
Right.
new information to be found, but this was the first episode in a while that felt like, okay, all of this is core plot. And not that I thought anyone wasn't gonna survive, but there is that little bit that's like they could do something here. And so it made like the entire surgery and the whole entire time that Wrecker's kind of like going after Omega feel that much more intense.
Well, that and, like, even when they're traveling to, like, the area where they're gonna remove the
Right,
chips,
the actual like
like
part of the ship.
yeah, when they're going through, like, all the broken down areas and, Wrecker falls into the water and he's, like, being attacked, it's like, I didn't think he was gonna die, but for some reason, that part still made me tense, which I also wanted to ask you, I never looked this up, and I should have done that before we even recorded this, but do you think like, you know the Sarlacc pit in Return of the
Hmm.
Jedi? Do you think that was a Sarlacc?
It kind of seemed like it,
It's just it was in the water, so
but
I'm
it
just like, I don't know if that could be that,
I
but the
I
mouth
imagine it
and
probably was.
that was the thing, like, the mouth and the arms, I'm just like, that looks so much like it. So and that would be crazy too if that was something they brought into this, because they love doing that in this show, like, bringing tiny little, like, alien monster things that you see throughout all the movies, they appear randomly in this show, and I love that because it's so nostalgic. I really think
It
it's
doesn't look like
fantastic that they
it's
keep doing that.
it doesn't look like it's listed as like a an Easter egg,
Sarlacc.
but
Oh.
you never know.
I feel like that would be listed as an Easter egg,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think we'd be the first people to realize it. So I'm sure like smarter people than us were like, no, that is actually a I don't know.
Octopi.
Say in the
I
comments
don't
stuff.
know. Either way, I like to believe that it's a sarlacc, so we're gonna say that's a sarlacc water pit. This was just like an aquatic version of it. I don't know,
You heard it here
but
first. George Lucas, you come and tell us that we're wrong, and we'll believe you.
I do think that this whole scene though, where they're walking, like all the lighting and stuff, that's another thing this show always does. The lighting is perfect in all of these
Because we're
episodes.
so used to
Even
them not giving a fuck in Clone Wars.
I guess that's the truth, but like the lighting is so good
There
when
was
they're
no
walking
like they did
through.
not care about the lighting or the shadow. To say they didn't care is ignorant because it was really just the show. Animation wasn't where it's at and the budget and stuff.
Yeah.
But now that they have those resources, we talk about all the time how beautiful the show is. But like you're right, that
You
is
can tell though with the more important episodes, they spend a little bit more money and time on it.
yeah.
Which makes sense. They should. But
I mean, to be honest, like, because that makes sense, but I really think every episode to me has just looked somehow better than the last one. Like, I really do. Like, I think this was the prettiest,
okay.
but I remember watching last week's episode and I was like, this show looks really, really good. Like, I feel like this looks prettier than last week, and it
Yeah.
keeps going like that, which I love. I love that they're really spending time on it.
I agree, but I really do think that this episode for some reason seems like it was on like a completely different level. But I think it's because they introduced Rex
I
and
know.
you can't not highlight that more. So, wait, what?
I
I
didn't say
missed
anything.
whatever joke. Oh, I thought you said some joke because you were laughing, and I was like, I completely bypassed that.
No,
So,
I was thinking though, because I had to go like when I was making the thumbnail for this episode, I went and grabbed the kind of like screen grab from right before Rex takes his cloak off. Because I think I didn't realize it was him until like a couple seconds before. But did you kind of like figure it out a little bit before that? Because I noticed when I was
I
like going
did.
back to look for it, you can see like his armor plates and stuff.
I don't even think that's what I noticed. I think just when I saw the cloak again and saw that him like I don't know. When I saw him chilling in the bar, I just didn't see it as being Obi for some reason. I
Yeah,
was like, it can't be him. I really don't believe he would just be chilling in this bar right now because he's like way more in hiding than anyone. So
yeah, it'd be weird.
yeah, I just like didn't think it would be him. So after that, and form looked more like a man. So that's when I was kind of like, oh, it could be Rex. So that's why I wasn't like I mean, I was still blown away. So I can't even say I wasn't, but I just had more of a feeling it was him than it was Obi-Wan. So I definitely didn't think it was fucking Darth Maul. Omar's crazy. So,
Ah,
I'm just messing. But so when they take the inhibitor chip stuff out, all the shit that happens with that, where it's like, again, the tension where you're hoping they hurry up and do it because you can see like he has a headache, he's leaning over, and like you can do the whole, like you see the whole change where his like pupils dilate and stuff.
hmm
And you're just like, oh shit. And then he goes berserk and just starts trying to kill everyone and saying the whole good soldiers follow orders, which no matter how
It's
many
never
times you
good.
hear that, it's terrifying because it's so sad. Like all it does is remind me of the last 3 episodes of Clone Wars, and I
Yeah.
hate that because it's like scarring. But the stuff with Omega really it elevated this show a lot more in my eyes because we get to see like she's been more than just this new character. I feel like she's been doing really well with like people liking her character, but this episode made you really 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 give a shit about her. And I'm very thankful that they did that because we have a lot more of this show to go. So, they kind of needed to.
Yeah, I agree. Where do you think? Because this resolved, at least with the stuff that the Bad Batch was dealing with, this resolved a huge chunk of like the immediate threat of like the inhibitor chips. Like all of their inhibitor chips are out now, and that's not something that can really be like flipped back on and cause kind of like drama there. So where do you think we're heading now? Like,
It's got to be Crosshair, right? Like
yeah, it
the
feels like
only
it's
other thing that feels any sort of threat ever in this show so far is Crosshair.
So it's like it's Crosshair. We know that they're basically hiding out with Sid because what's her face is hunting them, and Sid's kind of
Yeah.
offering them protection. So we're still dealing with kind of like the bounty hunter on him. And then kind of end game ish with this, we have the sort of like outstanding offer from Rex that he gives them at the end, where it's like, hey, whenever you do
Oh,
figure out where you want to be, like, let me know if it is
he's like,
like
if you ever need me, dude. His little walk off where he's like walking into
into
the
the
fog.
smoke.
Oh,
Oh, beautiful.
it killed me. I also love that this episode was one of the only episodes we've gotten so far that ends on a cliffhanger. Like it ends in a way that it feels like a two-part episode. Like
Did you get
show.
that though? I guess. All right. So
Yeah, because they're about to be hunted down by who
yeah,
those
you're right.
junkyard
So because I was
people.
about to say it felt almost like last week where we see the robes and we're like, who is this? But I guess you're right because this
No,
is
this feels more than that.
well, yeah, and this also being like it's on the planet that they're on. It's not something kind of going on like out there. Like last week, it was the sisters on the ship, like kind of
Mhm.
separated from them. So this very much, you're right. Where it'd be weird next week if it doesn't pick up like immediately where it left off. So that's kind of
Well, and
cool.
that's the thing. Like it with seeing the robe in the end of the other episode, it feels like you don't know when that's actually going to show up. Like
Yeah,
we were just lucky it showed up the next episode, but it could have been like 4 episodes from now.
yeah,
Whereas
you're right.
this, it's like an immediate threat. Like they are not in a ship flying away. Like they are still healing from the brain surgery they've all just had.
Yeah, how are they gonna
And
do battle now?
I don't know, but it blows my mind that they're about to be attacked. I'm sure they'll be fine because clearly they keep being fine. It's not like there's never an immediate threat to the group as a whole because I don't think they're going to kill off one of the characters with so much of the show left. I'm not saying they won't ever do it. I just don't think they're going to do it
It's
yet.
yeah, it seems unlikely. You know the thing I do think about though that would be weird is if it does pick up immediately, which it seems like it's going to, how far realistically could Rex have gotten just walking off into the fog?
That scared the shit out of me because I was just like, if they hunt him down and like try to kill him, I mean, clearly we know he survives because he's in Rebels, but like
Right.
it
But
just made me nervous. I'm like, I mean, he's not that far. Like, he's just
but
walking away.
well, but it's weird to me because it very much felt like this is it for Rex, at least for now. Like we're not seeing him next
Mhm.
week because they kind of gave him like an exit. But at the same time, if they're immediately attacked, wouldn't Rex be like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna go help them again"? So
I
I
don't
don't.
think they're going to be immediately attacked, though.
You don't
I
think
think they're
so?
going to gather their forces and surround them, and
Mm,
then draw them out, kind of thing. Like, I don't
yeah.
think they're just going to fly up to them right as Rex is walking away and immediately start like blasting them. You know what I mean?
I wish
Like,
they would though, just because I want Rex back.
I don't.
You
I
don't?
actually not yet because I am very happy with how this episode went and that it was like the end of him right now. Like he did what he needed to do and we got more answers. We got some stuff resolved and they had like a really good goodbye. So
Yeah, they
I
did.
want it to stay like short and sweet right now and then have him come back later
Yeah.
when all the crosshair shit inevitably goes insane, which I hope it does at some point because I'm very ready to see Crosshair again and like feel threats. I want to feel threatened. I don't know. I
I want to
just
feel alive again.
like the bounty hunters and all this other shit. I'm just like, it's cool, but I don't feel scared for anyone. Like,
I just think, yeah, I think Rex or Crosshair's set up to be like we
well,
just
he's like
he's,
immediately connected to Tarkin, and
well,
that's something we want to see because that's when you see more of the Empire. I don't think we're actually seeing much of the Empire right
yeah,
now.
which is
Like
weird
we're
because the first 2 episodes we were actually seeing like a good bit, but
exactly.
it's been a
Like we're
while now.
seeing repercussions of what is happening because of the Empire, but we're not seeing actual Imperial type things.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to see that. And I'm hoping because of what just happened with Rex, like the next few episodes might lead up to that. I don't know. It's my hope, but
I hope so too. I hope
it's
you're right
not a
on that.
new hope. So I know that was awful. I couldn't help it.
No, that was great.
All right. So to wrap this puppy up, what do you think we're going to see in the next episode? Episode 8. That's halfway through, right? We only have 16 episodes,
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
you're right. So episode 8 is literally the halfway point. So I guess I just hope that it's a kind of second part ish of sorts of this. Only that like it picked like we're just talking about that it picks up right after. And that the stakes are kind of still there. And just that it deals with the main story. I don't really see how with it ending the way it ended that we would just cut to them back on their ship and going off to some random planet. So
No,
I'm
I
excited
don't
that
think so
next
either.
week I think is still going to be like kind of like heavy canon. And I guess I just hope that next week we see enough stuff that if we're about to get another kind of wave of fillery episodes that it just feels time, or it's never going to feel time for fillers, but at least it'll be like, all right, we got a good bit of stuff that happened kind of in the middle of the show. Now we can go off and kind of like screw around on some random planets and then
Yeah.
come back for an epic finale. I hope.
Yeah, like an epic like 3-part finale. That's what I'm
I hope
hoping it'll
so.
be.
They
But
they better pull out the stops like they did for Clone Wars. And I'm saying that
they
I'm
better
not
pull out the
expecting
stops
them to.
But
I'm
that's
really
what I'm
not.
saying.
But
But you should expect it. Like they pulled out all the stops for the first episode of the show.
that is
So
true.
like, why not for the finale of the show?
Yeah.
I fully am expecting it and hoping that they do that. And again, yeah, you're right. Not maybe on the level as Clone Wars, but I'm expecting it to be pretty damn close.
Yeah.
So
I think it's going to be
I
great
mean,
story wise. I don't know if they'll frame it kind of like the 4-part movie that they did with Clone Wars, but I hope they do because that would be amazing.
all
And
I
why not?
know
Why not do it?
all I know is I better fucking see Crosshair in the next episode. Like I keep picturing these garbage men that are working for the Empire spot the Bad Batch. They know that the Bad Batch is wanted men and woman, and they call up Tark. They're like, "Dude, we found them. What do you want us to do? Like throw him in a dumpster? I don't know, and hold him for you." And so they call him, and then you get like a slow-mo shot of like just how you got Rex walking out of the smoke. You get a slow-mo shot of Crosshair walking in from the smoke.
Immediately as he leaves,
Yeah,
Crosshair's just
it's
like,
like
all right,
this.
what's up, Bad Batch?
That's like what I'm hoping for. I know I'm not going to get it, but hey,
Hey, you never know.
50-50 shot in my mind. So,
I hope you're
all
right.
right, well, either way, we will be back for episode 8, which I don't know what the title is yet, clearly, but we'll be
What do you
back
think
for
it'll be?
episode 8.
Put all your chips down now.
Tark and Crosshair.
All right,
That's not what it's going to be called. Either way, I want it. I want it. So we'll be back Monday morning for you guys discussing this. So yeah, until then, good soldiers follow orders.